Okay, so for this first tutorial, I'm going to make snow fall onto a cabin and then have the snow kind of drip off a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start off with making our geometry. I found a cabin just on TurboSquid, so you're going to want to import that first into your geometry node. Then it's going to be really big at first. So we're going to want to scale this down by putting down a transform node. Then connect those two, make that visible. And then let's scale that down quite a bit. Scale it down a little bit more. That's about right, I think. Okay, so let's go back out into the object mode. Just so we can kind of keep track of things, we're going to rename our node to cabin. Okay, so next we're going to want to go to rigid bodies and make this a static object. Make sure to click on your node first before you click on static object. This will prevent any other objects or like our snow from falling through the cabinet. Okay, and then next we're going to want to make a null and rename that as out_cabin. This just kind of makes sure if we want to go back and do any other changes that it's not going to mess up our simulation later. And we're going to want to make this ground plane just so the snow has somewhere to fall. And then next we're going to make a little box. This is going to be our snow emitter. Then, similar to what we did with the cabin, we're going to want to transform that again and put it above the cabin and then make it roughly the size of the roof. Okay, then we're going to want to move it up. Okay, so that looks about right. Okay, next we're going to want to go to grains and then wet sand. Make sure that your snow emitter is highlighted first. Okay, and then to make your viewport look cleaner, you can press L. Okay, and then we're going to want to look for the grain color, because right now it looks like sand, so we're going to want to change the color using these little tabs here. Double click on them, and then we can change the color to kind of a white bluish color to look more like snow. Alright, so that looks a little more like snow. At least it's white. Okay, and then we're going to want to go to the grain update node, which is going to be a little above your other node. We're going to look for particle separation, and we're going to want to decrease this number. I would say roughly about 0.01 just to help with simulation times. This will make the grains smaller. We also, just depending on your computer, you might want to go to Solver and then you click the checkbox Use at OpenCL. This will also help with simming times. What I'm going to have you do, go to your object layer and then go into your snow tab, your emitter, and then scroll up to the transform node that we created earlier. We're going to want to look for the widest length in your scale. We're going to want to copy that parameter, then go back into your AutoDop network, back to the grain update, and we're going to want to paste that into constraint iterations. Paste copied relative references into your constraint iterations. Then we're going to want to divide this by our particle separation and multiply that by 2. To get the wording for particle separation, just hover over it and it should tell you right underneath there. We want to do this because our constraint iterations will help the particles communicate their constraints properly. And we're making this formula so that if we want to go back later and change our particle separation, then our constraint iterations will calculate automatically for us. Okay, so next you're going to want to scroll down, look at the behavior tab. Then under friction, you'll see scale kinetic. We're going to want to change this to 1 to help prevent particles from flying off. Then if you scroll down a little more and look for clumping, weight, we're going to want to change that to 2 so we get a little more clumpiness. And then the stiffness, we're going to want to change that to 20 to prevent the clumps from kind of bouncing around. Alright, so after this we can exit the grain update node. You're gonna want to head over and click on your cabin node, then scroll down and look for the collisions tab, and you'll see a checkbox, use volume-based collision detection. You want to uncheck that. That'll make sure that your snow doesn't fall through your roof if the geometry is really thin. Alright, and then here's the sim of the snow falling off the roof.